Welcome to Creator's Edge Studio. I'm Tom Marcoux.
And I'm John Colton.
Here at Creator's Edge Studio, we talk about pop culture and things that are fun, and we have a philosophy. Teach me something I can use. In this episode, we're talking about Dune, the upcoming feature film. Yes, we're going to have a trailer reaction. We're also talking about, so this is the secret. So you create a trailer that makes people feel, I must see this film. We're also talking about director Denis Villeneuve, the actor Timothee Chalamet, Zendaya, Blade Runner 2049, and we're going to talk about create a compelling trailer, preview, short film, or video. Also, we're going to talk about capture attention and change the person's behavior. John, you've seen the new trailer for Dune. What's your take on it?
I'm pretty excited. As an artist, a lot of the costume and the ship design is just really spectacular. And there's a lot of new visuals, things that we've never kind of seen before. And I think the thing that has me most excited about it is knowing that they are doing their darndest to be true to the book. That the first movie is basically half of the first book.
Sounds good.
Now, if it's a 5-book series and each movie is half a book, you're potentially looking at 10 movies.
Wow. So let's go right into it, into the actual trailer itself. For example, the voice seems to be Zendaya, and she says, you need to face your fears.
You know, it's a bit of mystery. That's something that you will want to invoke with a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit of suspense and curiosity.
Right. Now, the other thing that means a lot to me is the relationships and also the main character played by Timothée. What does the main character go through? The character arc, where does he start and where does he rise to in terms of this main character, Paul Atreides? One thing that was powerful is that Paul says, Dad, what if I'm not the future of House Atreides? And then the father, portrayed by Oscar Isaac, says, a great man does not seek to lead. He's called to it. But if your answer is no, you'll still be the only thing I ever needed you to be, my son. Many of us really would love to have a relationship with one's father in which there's such love and acceptance of a person to be who they are.
Yeah, that was definitely a good dad moment.
Yes.
But I think what I really liked about it was good dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one thing to have a preview with a bunch of explosions and CGI.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a preview that says, hey, there's good writing here.
Right.
Well, now I'm really intrigued.
Right. There's a story. There are characters. They're fleshed out. They're whole. They breathe. They're real. I'm with you.
And I think you're right. There is a bit of a character arc just in the preview.
Right.
I mean, maybe it's showing a little bit too much, but maybe not. It lets you know that there's a journey that is going to happen here just as part of the plot, but the inner journey of the character Paul.
Right.
And how he's going to transform.
In fact, that's terrific. That in order to make a short film, a trailer, a promotional video, to have power so that it could actually move someone from their initial position and then get them to feel something and then change their behavior, that there are 3 elements that we have to balance. There's like a tension between these elements. The first element you've already had a bit of a mention of. I call it imply the character arc. So instead of telling us all about the beginning, middle, and end, those often become the trailers that fail, because if you know the whole story, then you don't need to see the whole film. It's like you saw a 3-minute version of the 2-hour film. So you just need to imply the character arc. And what I noticed was that the Jason Momoa character, Duncan, he kids the Paul Atreides character that he has more muscle. And he says, oh, really? And he says, no. And so you kind of get the feeling that the Paul Atreides character starts off not really physically strong, but then near the end of the trailer, you see someone fighting with power, and then the mask opens up and you see it's the Paul Atreides character. He's come a distance. He seems not to be a warrior at the beginning, but now he really seems to have become a warrior.
One thing I did notice in that moment in the visuals that I really appreciated, and again, this is just talking as someone who's done storyboards and a visual artist,
Right.
I'm not sure if it's in the book, but there seem to be two teams. There's like gold and silver. And one side has on, the gold uniforms and the other side has silver. And I was just really grateful to see that, because a lot of times in these big budget action scenes, they'll have a huge fight scene where everyone is wearing the same uniform.
Right. That's interesting.
I think John Carter springs to mind.
Yes. I was wondering if you're going to mention that.
Where I couldn't tell who was winning or who was losing.
So I'm going to take us back to the 3 elements of tension now. We already started with the the character arc. The second part is have enough suspense, because we covered this, that if you show the whole beginning, the whole middle, the whole ending, then you've made a 3-minute version of a whole feature film. Now I don't need to see it. And then the third element is provide a compelling mystery. Part of the compelling mystery is, what is this relationship going to be between the character portrayed by Timothée and the other character portrayed by Zendaya? Are they going to be a couple? Are they going to have some times where one of them feels betrayed by the other? Is he going to be inspired by her? Is he going to be at her side? Are they going to be warriors together? There's a bit of a mystery there, and that's terrific. What we're really talking about here in terms of providing a video experience that gets someone to change behavior, I really think of a trailer as something that's designed to move you from where you were before you saw the trailer. That is, many people, if they don't know anything about Dune, then they see the trailer and they have an experience, a feeling experience while they're watching the trailer. So this is the secret. So you create a trailer that makes people feel, I must see this film. And they go from a space of apathy. If the trailer is working at its best, there's a realization, there's a revelation, there's an experience of aha in the middle of the trailer, where suddenly a person goes, that's it, I'm in. This is cool. I must see this. And it seems that sometimes a trailer will not have that. For example, there's been a lot of discussion about how Blade Runner 2049 didn't succeed at the box office, and perhaps it was too mysterious. There wasn't enough there, so that people who don't really know Blade Runner, the first movie, they didn't have a real reason to get emotionally involved and have to go out and see the thing.
Yeah, when I left the theater after seeing Blade Runner 2049, I thought it was a really good movie. And I really liked it. I'm kind of a fan of Denis Villeneuve, and I really liked Prisoners, Enemy, Sicario, Arrival, and Blade Runner, but I didn't want to watch Blade Runner again. And for those of us who are Blade Runner fans, we got a bit more of that universe. And it was extremely well done, and it was gorgeous production art and set pieces, and the mood was right, but the story was not super compelling.
Right. Yes. A lot of people might say that perhaps new screenwriters are too concerned about structure, or they're looking for a formula, or they're looking for step by step. But the thing is, I would suggest that we are conditioned from the moment we start hearing stories told to us or read to us as children, we get a feeling of how a story goes. And so the structure is something that's kind of conditioned into us, is this is a story. And so Blade Runner 2049 did not conform to what we would expect a story would be. For example, if Kay, played by Ryan Gosling, needed a piece of information, it's not like he went to some place and he got all kinds of resistance and somebody wouldn't answer him. He just walked around and he got the information. It wasn't a struggle. He wasn't earning it. He wasn't having what we're used to as being the conflict that goes on in a story as you go along. Well, I wonder, because we can really tell that the director, Denis, is an artist. And according to people who work with him, he's very collaborative and things like that. By observation of the film as it is, it looks like he was trying to make something fresh, and he didn't want to stay in a strict structure, and therefore it didn't feel like a regular movie because he intended it to be something different.
Yeah, and I also have to keep in mind that a lot of this is subjective, and the things that I loved and appreciated about Blade Runner might not be the same things that struck him when he watched it. It was a sci-fi film for sure. But it was also a film noir.
Yes, absolutely.
And a gritty detective story.
Right.
In a gritty detective story, the way that the gritty detective gets information is he has to go beat up some people.
Right. And sometimes he's trying to get some information and someone is killed and he can't get that information. So it goes on that he has to keep struggling to piece together to get all the pieces and then find out what's really going on here.
Right. I feel like with Blade Runner 2049, at its heart, it was a sci-fi film.
Okay.
Because it dealt with a lot of sci-fi elements, a lot more emphasis on virtual reality, what is real with relationships and people. And these were all themes that were also in the original Blade Runner, but it was also very much a detective story and kind of a film noir. And that sentiment was missing.
As a screenwriter myself, as a novelist, I'm going to jump in on story structure and delivering to the conditioning of my audience so that they have a satisfying experience. And when I say satisfying, I don't mean a happy ending, but something that feels completely inevitable and feels completely right. Like that story ended the way it needed to. Now, as we come to the close here, developing that trailer or short video or promotional video where you have the balance of the tension of the elements and you're able to deliver an urgency so that the person says, I must see this. So the elements were imply the character arc. We see in Dune, the trailer, that Paul Atreides' character is going to start somewhere and he's going to rise up and be somewhere else. We have that implied in the trailer. We need to have enough suspense. So we don't want to know exactly how the relationship between the Zendaya character, Timothée, the Paul Atreides character, we don't want to know exactly how it's going to go, but we want to know that there is going to be some kind of relationship there, which leads me to the third element, which is provide a compelling mystery. How is this going to turn out? I want to know. The mystery is compelling. It pulls me in. I want to see how this turns out. And that takes us from a space, before you see the trailer, if you don't know anything about the project, you're kind of in a space of apathy. Like, I don't know why I should even pay attention. And then in the middle of watching the trailer, ideally you have the aha experience, the realization experience, the revelation experience, where you suddenly transform from apathy to, I must see this. So is there something you'd like to add as we come to the close?
That's exactly what the Dune trailer did for me. I went from, oh, they're remaking Dune. Well, I'm kind of curious to see what that's going to look like, to, oh, I'm definitely seeing this in the theaters.
Splendid. All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Tom.
So thanks for listening to our show. We're so glad that I think you had a cue there, John.
And if you like easy access to the latest videos, become a subscriber and you'll get notifications of new uploads and new videos.
That was certainly formal there, John.
Well,
Okay.
I'm a big fan.
Catch you next time.